I'm Janet Treasure. I'm a consultant psychiatrist at the South London and Maudsley Hospital, and I'm a professor of psychiatry at King's College London. Bulimia nervosa is an illness in which there is a compulsive urge to overeat large amounts of food, much more than anybody else usually eats. But at the same time, there is a fear of gaining weight, concern about weight and shape. And so the individual often uses a variety of extreme measures to try and compensate for the overeating. The most common is vomiting, self-inflicted, or using laxatives, using various drugs, stimulants, caffeine, or using a lot of exercise, or fasting for long periods. One of the most important risk factors is a period of anorexia itself. So about a quarter of people with anorexia do go on to have bulimia as well. The most common symptoms that families might see would be a preoccupation with weight and shape issues, spending a long time getting dressed, changing into different clothes, asking for reassurance about weight or shape, or suddenly not going out because feeling too fat. There is no doubt that in terms of trying to explain why bulimia has arisen, that we have the fact that it didn't seem to occur before about 1950. Then suddenly in the 70s and 80s there was an exponential rise, and that has happened most countries in the West. And we do think that there is a mixture of factors. So there is this culture in which palatable food is easily available and it's accessible and people can eat it on their own, in conjunction with a context where thinness is idealised. And so this tension between a striving for thinness in the context of plenty and accessibility seems to be what produces bulimia. The treatments available for bulimia nervosa are much more evidence-based and have been proved to be effective than, for example, for anorexia nervosa. For example, we know that cognitive behavioural therapy can be quite effective in 50% of cases. And some individuals can even have quite a good response to self-help approaches, reading books or getting CBT programs from the website, for example. There can be some problems with bulimia. It can damage the teeth, and the acid reflux from vomiting can mean that the teeth dissolve away and some teeth are capped. But other than that, most of the physical signs of bulimia do settle. But it can, even after recovery, there's a chance of relapse, and so it can take a few years before the eating pattern is more tightly regulated. In terms of recovery, the sooner an individual goes for treatment and is able to effectively change these disrupted patterns of eating, the greater the chances of full recovery.